This is insane HOA madness. It started with snow and ended with a board meltdown. My name is Derek. I run a mobile detailing business in Detroit, Michigan, and the woman screaming at me in my own driveway is holding a tow authorization slip like it is a search warrant. "You need to move that vehicle right now," she says, her breath coming out in sharp clouds. "This is a winter emergency hazard zone and you are in direct violation of the parking map." I look at the slip in her hand. The paper is blank, except for a logo I cannot read in the freezing fog. I look back at her. "Brenda," I say, "my van has been parked in this exact spot for 6 months. There is no parking map." She steps closer and I can see the pink earmuffs are slightly crooked on her head. Her name is Jennifer Phillips, but everyone calls her Brenda because she introduced herself that way at the first board meeting and never corrected it. She is the pool and amenities chair for the Maple and Meltwater Winter Compliance Association, which means she controls gate access, clubhouse reservations, and apparently my driveway. "You signed the covenants, now you live the covenants," she says. That is her line. She has said it to me twice before, once about a recycling bin and once about a porch light color. I moved to this neighborhood 8 months ago because the units were affordable and close to my commercial clients. I detail cars, trucks, and fleet vehicles, and I need driveway access every single day. My van is my office. If I cannot park it here, I cannot work. That is the stake. That is what she is threatening. The first sign of trouble came 3 weeks ago when I leaned a sled against my garage after taking my nephew out. It was there for maybe 2 days. Brenda knocked on my door and told me it was outdoor storage, which violated the aesthetic standards. I moved it inside, but she filed a violation anyway. Now she is back, and this time she has brought enforcement. "The parking map," she says again, like I am supposed to know what that means. "It was updated last week during the emergency session. Your spot has been reassigned." I let that sit for a second. "Emergency session," I say. "Yes. We had to respond to the winter storm predictions. The board voted." I pull my phone out of my coat pocket, the hand warmer packet crinkling in my palm. I open my email. "Brenda, I did not get any notice about an emergency session. When was it?" She waves a hand. "It was posted on the website." I check the HOA website on my phone. The last update was in October. There is nothing about a parking map. I show her the screen. She barely glances at it. "That is not my problem. You need to comply, or we will tow." I take a breath. The cold air stings my lungs. "Brenda, who authorized the tow?" "The board." "Which board members?" She does not answer. Instead, she turns and walks back toward the street, where I now notice 2 other people standing near a pickup truck. They are wearing reflective vests and holding clipboards. One of them is a man in his 60s with a thick mustache. The other is a younger woman with a puffy jacket and a tablet. Brenda waves them over. "This is the compliance squad," she says when they reach us. "They are here to document the violation." The man with the mustache does not look thrilled to be here. He glances at my van, then at Brenda, then back at me. "Sir," he says, "we just need to confirm the vehicle position and take some photos for the file." "What file?" I ask. "The winter emergency compliance file," Brenda says. I look at the younger woman. She is tapping on the tablet but not making eye contact. I lean slightly to see the screen. It is blank. I decide to ask a basic question. "What is the specific violation?" The man clears his throat. "Well, the vehicle is parked in a reassigned zone." "Reassigned by who?" He looks at Brenda. "By the board," she snaps, "during the emergency session. We already covered this." I nod slowly. "And what is the section number in the covenants that allows emergency reassignment?" Silence. The younger woman finally looks up from her tablet. "I do not think we have that in the system." Brenda glares at her. "It is in the winter addendum." I have read the covenants twice. There is no winter addendum. I pull up the PDF on my phone and scroll to the table of contents. I hold it out. "Show me." Brenda does not take the phone. She just stares at me. "You should have read the rules before you moved in, sweetheart." There it is. The line. I let her say my name loud, because later I wanted it on the recording. I had started recording the moment she walked up with that toe slip. I smile, and I do not say anything about the recording. Instead, I ask the mustache guy a direct question. Sir, what is your name? He hesitates. Frank. Frank, are you a board member? No. I am just a volunteer. Did you vote on this parking map? No. Do you know who did? He looks at Brenda again. She cuts in before he can answer. This is not a deposition, Derek. You are wasting everyone's time. Move the van or we tow it. You have 30 minutes. She turns and walks back toward her car, and the compliance squad follows her like ducklings. Frank glances back at me once, and I can see the discomfort on his face. The younger woman does not look back at all. I stand there in the freezing fog, my hand-warming packet going cold in my palm, and I think about my next move. I have a flight early tomorrow for a vendor meeting in Cleveland. It is a big contract, the kind that could set me up for the next year. I cannot risk being blocked in my driveway. I cannot risk a tow. I cannot afford the distraction. But I also cannot let this slide. I go inside and call my friend Natalie. She is a property manager for a different HOA across town, and she knows the laws better than most board members do. She answers on the second ring. Natalie, I say, can an HOA reassign parking without a vote? She laughs. No, not unless it is in the covenants, and even then they need notice. They are saying it was an emergency session. Was it? I do not know. I did not get notice. Then it did not happen. Michigan law requires 48 hours notice for any meeting where they vote on assessments or rules. Emergency session does not override that. If you are enjoying this story, hit that like button and subscribe, because HOA drama only gets wilder from here. I thank her and hang up. Then I email the management company. I keep it short. I explain the situation, I attach a photo of the toe slip, and I ask for documentation of the emergency session and the parking map vote. I send it at 6:43 in the evening. By 7:15, I get a reply. It is from a guy named Aaron, and the tone is careful. Mr. Chen, we are looking into this matter. Please do not move your vehicle until we have clarified the board's authority. That is good. That means they do not have the paperwork either. I go back outside to check on the van. The compliance squad is gone, but Brenda is still parked across the street in her sedan. She is on her phone. I can see the glow of the screen through her windshield. I walk over. I tap on her window. She rolls it down an inch. What? I just got an email from the management company, I say. They are reviewing the parking map issue. Her face tightens. That is between you and them. Great, I say. So we agree that you do not have the authority to tow my van tonight. She does not answer. She rolls the window back up. I walk back to my driveway, and I notice something odd. The orange driveway stakes I put in last week are gone. I had planted 2 of them in the snowbank to mark the edge of my driveway so the plow guy would not clip my mailbox. Now they are just gone. I look across the street. Brenda is still in her car. I go back inside and text Natalie. They took my driveway stakes. She replies immediately. That is theft. File a police report. I do not want to escalate to police yet, but I take photos of the missing stakes and the disturbed snow. I save them in a folder on my phone labeled Evidence. The next morning I wake up at 4:30 for my flight. I go outside to start the van, and there is a bright orange cone sitting in the middle of my driveway, right behind the rear tires. I move it to the curb. Then I see another one near the mailbox. I move that one too. Then I see a third one in the snow near my front steps. Brenda has been here overnight, moving cones around my property like some kind of traffic control psychopath. I take photos of all 3 cones. I load my bag into the van, and I back out carefully. The street is empty except for 1 car, a sedan parked 2 houses down. I cannot see the driver, but I know it is her. I drive to the airport, and I am on edge the whole time. I keep checking my phone for emails from the management company, from Brenda, from anyone. Nothing comes. The Cleveland meeting goes well. I close the contract. It is a fleet deal, 30 vehicles every 2 weeks, and it is exactly the kind of steady work I need. I should be celebrating, but all I can think about is what is waiting for me back home. I land in Detroit at 8 at night. I drive back to the neighborhood, and when I turn onto my street, I see a tow truck idling in front of my driveway. I pull up fast and park in the street. I get out and walk toward the truck. The driver is standing near the rear, looking at a clipboard. "Hey," I say. "What is going on?" He looks up. "You, the owner of the van?" "Yes." "I got a call from the HOA. They said it is an unauthorized vehicle." "Unauthorized," I repeat. He shrugs. "That is what they said. I am just doing my job." I pull out my phone and call Aaron at the management company. It goes to voicemail. I call again. Voicemail. I look at the tow truck driver. "Did the HOA give you any paperwork?" He hands me a printed form. It has the association name at the top and a handwritten note that says, "Unauthorized vehicle, winter emergency violation, tow authorized by board president." "Who signed this?" I ask. He points to a signature at the bottom. I cannot read it, but I recognize the looping B. Brenda is not the board president. She is the pool and amenities chair. She does not have tow authority. I show the driver my phone. This is the email from the management company telling me not to move my vehicle until they clarify the board's authority. That was sent yesterday. This tow is not authorized. He frowns. "Man, I do not want to get in the middle of this." "You are already in the middle," I say. "If you tow my van without proper authority, I will file a complaint with your company and a police report for theft." He stares at me for a long moment. Then he folds up the clipboard. "I am going to call my dispatcher." He walks back to the truck and gets on his radio. I stand there in the freezing fog, my breath coming out in clouds, and I see Brenda walking toward me from across the street. She is wearing the same purple coat, the same pink earmuffs. She has her phone in one hand and a small stack of papers in the other. "You cannot stop this," she says when she reaches me. "The board has full authority under the winter emergency provisions." "Show me the provisions," I say. She waves the papers. "It is all here." "Then let me see it." She pulls the papers back. "This is board business. You are not entitled to see internal documents." I laugh. "Brenda, if you are using those documents to justify towing my van, I am absolutely entitled to see them." The tow truck driver comes back over. "My dispatcher says I need written authorization from the management company or a police officer. I cannot take the vehicle based on a handwritten note." Brenda's face goes red. "This is ridiculous. I am the pool and amenities chair. I have authority." The driver shakes his head. "Sorry, ma'am. I need proper documentation." He gets back in his truck and drives away. Brenda stands there, staring after him, and I can see her hands shaking. She turns to me. "This is not over." "I know," I say. She walks back to her car, and I go inside. I forward the tow truck incident to Aaron at the management company with photos of the form in the truck. I add a note. "This is harassment. I need a response by tomorrow morning." I also text Natalie. She replies with a thumbs up and a link to the Michigan HOA statutes. I save the link. The next morning I wake up to find salt spread across my front steps. I did not put it there. It is fresh, still white and granular, and there are footprints in the snow leading up to my door. Someone came onto my property overnight and salted my steps without permission. I take photos. I check my doorbell camera. The footage shows Brenda and another woman walking up at 2 a.m. with a bucket and spreading salt on the steps. The other woman is older, maybe 70, with a heavy coat and a scarf wrapped around her face. I save the footage and send it to Aaron with the subject line, "Trespassing and unauthorized property alteration." Within an hour, I get a reply. "Mr. Chen, we are scheduling an emergency board meeting for tonight at 7. Your presence is requested. Please bring any documentation you feel is relevant. I reply, I will be there. I spend the day preparing. I pull the covenant PDF and highlight every section about parking, enforcement, and board authority. I print out the email thread with Aaron. I download the doorbell footage onto a USB drive. I pull the recording from my phone of Brenda threatening to tow the van, and I create a written transcript with timestamps. Natalie calls me at 5. You ready? I think so. Remember, she says, stay calm. Let them talk first. Do not give them anything to use against you. And when you present your evidence, do it like you are teaching a class. Slow, clear, no emotion. Got it. And Derek, she says, they are going to try to make you look like the problem. Do not take the bait. I will not. At 6:45, I walk over to the clubhouse. It is a low brick building near the community pool, and the parking lot is half full. I recognize a few cars, including Brenda's sedan. Inside, the meeting room is set up with a folding table at the front and rows of chairs facing it. About 20 people are scattered in the audience. Brenda is sitting at the front table with 4 other people. I recognize 2 of them from neighborhood events. The others are strangers. I take a seat in the 3rd row. Natalie is already there, sitting near the back. She gives me a small nod. The board president, a man in his 50s with silver hair and a tie, calls the meeting to order. His name is Roger. He reads through some procedural language, and then he gets to the agenda. Item 4, he says, parking and winter compliance enforcement. Miss Phillips, you have the floor. Brenda stands up. She has a binder in front of her, and she opens it with a sharp snap. Thank you, Mr. President. As you all know, we have been dealing with an ongoing violation involving unauthorized vehicle parking in a winter emergency zone. The homeowner in question has refused to comply despite multiple notices and warnings. I raise my hand. Roger looks at me. Mr. Chen, you will have an opportunity to respond after Miss Phillips finishes. Brenda continues. The vehicle in question is a commercial cargo van, which is not permitted under our aesthetic standards. Additionally, the homeowner has been storing outdoor equipment in violation of our covenants, and he has refused to participate in our winter safety compliance program. She flips a page in her binder. We attempted to enforce the parking map reassignment, but the homeowner obstructed our compliance squad and intimidated our volunteers. That is a lie, I say. Roger holds up a hand. Mr. Chen, please wait your turn. Brenda closes her binder. In light of these violations, I am recommending that we proceed with collections and a formal hearing to consider additional penalties, including a lien. The room is silent. A few people shift in their seats. Roger looks at me. Mr. Chen, you may respond. I stand up. I have my folder in my hand, and I take a breath. Thank you. First, I want to address the claim that I am operating a commercial vehicle in violation of aesthetic standards. I pull out the covenant section and hold it up. Section 12, paragraph 3, states that commercial vehicles are prohibited only if they display signage or advertising. My van has no signage. It is a plain white cargo van. I use it for my business, but it is not in violation of the covenants. I look around the room. Several people are nodding. Second, I continue, the outdoor storage claim. Miss Phillips is referring to a sled that I leaned against my garage for 2 days. I moved it as soon as she asked. There is no ongoing violation. Third, the parking map reassignment. I pull out the email from Aaron. The management company has confirmed that there was no emergency session, no vote, and no authorized parking map. The reassignment was fabricated. Brenda stands up. That is not true. We had an emergency session on January 10th. I pull out the Michigan HOA statute printout. State law requires 48 hours written notice for any meeting where the board votes on rules or assessments. I received no notice. If the meeting happened, it was illegal. Roger looks at Brenda. Miss Phillips, do we have documentation of the notice? She hesitates. It was posted on the website. When? I ask. She does not answer. Roger clears his throat. Miss Phillips, If we do not have documentation, we cannot enforce the reassignment. Brenda sits down, and I can see her jaw tighten. I continue. Fourth, the tow attempt. Miss Phillips signed a tow authorization without board approval and without proper authority. I pull out the photo of the handwritten form. This is the form she gave to the tow truck driver. It is not valid, and it constitutes harassment. One of the other board members, a woman with glasses and a gray sweater, leans forward. Mr. Chen, do you have proof that Miss Phillips signed that form? I pull out my phone and show her the photo. The signature matches the email signature on file with the management company. I pull out a printed email from Brenda to compare. The loops are identical. The woman nods slowly. I take a breath. Fifth, and this is the most serious issue, Miss Phillips and another individual trespassed on my property at 2 a.m. to spread salt on my steps without my permission. I pull out the USB drive. I have doorbell footage. I also have a recording of Miss Phillips threatening to tow my vehicle and referring to a parking map that does not exist. The room is silent now. Roger looks at Aaron, who is sitting near the side wall. Aaron stands up. Mr. President, I can confirm that we have received Mr. Chen's documentation, and we are conducting an internal review of Miss Phillips's actions. Roger looks at Brenda. Miss Phillips, is this true? Did you enter Mr. Chen's property without permission? Brenda does not look at him. She is staring at me. You recorded me, she says. Yes, I say, because you were threatening to tow my vehicle based on a rule that does not exist. You cannot do that, she says. Michigan is a one-party consent state, I reply. I can record any conversation I am part of. Brenda stands up and grabs her binder. This is insane. You people are letting him twist everything. He is the one in violation. He is the one who refuses to follow the rules. She looks around the room. You sign the covenants. Now you live the covenants. No one responds. She slams the binder shut and walks out. The door bangs behind her. Roger rubs his face. Mr. Chen, I apologize for this situation. The board will review your documentation and provide a written response within 7 days. Thank you, I say. The meeting continues for another 20 minutes, covering budget items and landscaping contracts, but I barely hear any of it. When it ends, Natalie comes over and gives me a quick hug. You did great, she says. I hope so. A week later, I get a certified letter from the management company. It is signed by Aaron and the board president. The letter states that the winter emergency parking map was not authorized, that the tow attempt was improper, and that Miss Phillips has been removed from her role as pool and amenities chair pending further review. The letter also states that the association will mail a written correction to every homeowner retracting the false winter violations. I also get a separate email from Aaron. It includes an attachment, an HOA insurance document showing that their coverage is at risk because of harassment claims. He writes, "We take these matters seriously, and we are working to ensure compliance with Michigan law and our fiduciary duties." I forward the email to Natalie. She replies with a champagne emoji. 2 weeks later, I am outside clearing snow from my driveway when a property manager I do not recognize pulls up in a sedan. She gets out with a forced smile and a clipboard. "Hi," she says. "I am Angela. I am the new interim pool and amenities chair." "Nice to meet you," I say. She glances around. "I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that we are working on updating the winter safety procedures. The board is planning a vote next month, and we will make sure all homeowners get proper notice." I appreciate that. She hesitates. I also wanted to apologize for what happened with Miss Phillips. That was not how we do things here. "Thank you," I say. She walks back to her car, and I watch her drive away. That afternoon, I get a message in the neighborhood group chat. It is from Brenda. She has posted a long rant about how the board is corrupt and how I manipulated the meeting with fake evidence. She claims that the parking map was real and that the management company covered it up to protect themselves. The post stays up for about 10 minutes. Then it disappears. In its place, a new message appears from Aaron. The previous post contained false information and has been removed. A correction has been mailed to all homeowners per the board's resolution. Please refer to the official documentation for accurate information. Natalie texts me a screenshot. Brenda tried to repost it, and it got removed again. I sit back and let it sink in. It is over. A month later, I am in the clubhouse parking lot after a board meeting where they officially voted to rescind the fake winter violations and update the enforcement procedures. The new rules require written notice, board approval, and documentation before any towing or collections. Roger read a statute citation into the minutes that shuts the threat down, and the whole room clapped. As I am walking to my van, I see Brenda sitting in her car near the far end of the lot. She is not looking at me. She is just staring straight ahead. I do not say anything. I get in my van and drive home. The fallout continues for weeks. The management company issues a formal reprimand, and I learn through Natalie that the rep who enabled Brenda, a junior compliance coordinator, has been reassigned to a different property. Aaron sends me a follow-up email confirming that Karen's favorite fee, the winter emergency parking surcharge, was proven imaginary in the ledger. It never existed in the budget, and the board had no idea she was threatening people with it. At the next board meeting, Roger makes an announcement. He explains that the association is implementing new training for all board members and volunteers, and that any future enforcement actions will require management company review before execution. He also mentions that the board is reviewing its insurance coverage in light of recent harassment claims. I run into Frank, the mustache guy from the compliance squad at the grocery store a few weeks later. He stops me in the produce section. "Hey," he says, "I just wanted to say I am sorry about all that. I did not know what was going on." "It is okay," I say. "You were put in a bad spot." He nods. "I quit the squad after that night. I do not want to be part of that kind of thing." "I appreciate that," I tell him. He shakes my hand and walks away. In March, the board holds elections. Brenda does not run. Roger is re-elected, and 2 new members join, including a woman who has been pushing for transparency and online access to all meeting minutes. At the first meeting under the new board, they vote to post all financial records and enforcement logs on the website. The vote is unanimous. I get my orange driveway stakes back too. Someone leaves them on my front porch with a handwritten note, "Found these in the maintenance shed. Sorry for the confusion." I plant them back in the snowbank, and this time they stay. My business is doing well. The Cleveland contract has led to 2 more fleet deals, and I am hiring a part-time assistant to help with scheduling. I park my van in the same spot every night, and no one says a word. Natalie comes over for dinner one night in early April, and we sit on my back deck even though it is still cold. She raises her glass. "To documentation," she says. "To documentation," I repeat. "And to knowing your rights," she adds. We clink glasses, and I look out at the neighborhood. The snow is finally starting to melt, and the streetlights reflect off the slush in soft gold patterns. It is quiet now, peaceful even. The kind of quiet I moved here for in the first place. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.